As we all know, McCain, Senator McCain, died yesterday, and during his last several months or last year, he had run-ins with the President Trump, and I think in his paperwork at the end, he said he didn't want Trump coming to his funeral. Uh, but another thing, and I read a lot about McCain, but the only thing that really stands out in my mind that I've never heard before in my life was when he was in prison in Vietnam. He was there about 5 years, and they said, all right, we're going to let you get out and go home back to America. And he turned that down. And he said, look, there are people that have been in here longer than I have. You go to them and offer that to them first and see if they want to go home. I've never heard a line like that. And I don't know, frankly, anybody that would say it. It's just hard to believe that he would turn it down 5 years in Vietnam prison and say, there are people here longer than I am, and why don't you offer them this same proposition and let them go home. The other things that he ran for president twice, he lost both times, but he was smart, he was good. Constantly he said he doesn't care what happens, he's for his country. He's always for his country, not America. He's for his country, for his country. But he had some fights with Trump in the last year about some different things, and their relationship when he died lately was bad. Naturally, he was on wires for brain cancer, and he'd been on them for a while. And this is another thing I don't understand. He told them to disconnect the wires 2 days ago, and then yesterday he died. Now I don't know if I had wires on me and somehow it was keeping me alive. I don't think I'd tell you to disconnect them when it'd be known for certain I'm going to die. But that's what happened with him. He said disconnect the wires. That was Friday, and then yesterday he was dead. But he served his country, and that was the main thing of his life. He said, I'm for my country, I'll serve my country, and my country could not come in front of anything. And that's about the end of him. He was 81 years old. Now, the other thing I was going to talk about today is the Manhattan district in New York. They're talking about pursuing criminal charges against President Trump. And for some of these things that's going on with this $130,000 mainly that this girl was paid, the dancer was paid by Cohen because Cohen said she had a affair with Trump. And the question is how they put that money down on their books, because it really isn't a legal expense. I think they had it down as a legal expense of $430,000, and he paid that money to Stormy Daniels, and then he had some slips drawn up where he was getting $35,000 a month attorney fee, and then they were giving him money to pay his income tax on that. I mean, it was sort of complicated, but the question is, and the state of New York is looking at it, if that was mainly a state penalty, tax state penalty, because putting down something on your tax return that's not correct. They had that down as legal fees. That was no legal fee. That was a payoff for Stormy Daniels, $130,000. So if that's the case, that would be a state tax violation in New York. State tax violation. And Trump, with his pardons, it won't affect, it has nothing to do with state tax violations. So even though he could say, I'm pardoning myself over this, or I'm pardoning everybody in the deal, it's federal charges, there's no question a pardon will move it out. State charges like this, though, pardon will do nothing. It's only for federal charges. So if they're going to come after Trump criminally, he can't stop it as far as a pardon goes. And one of the things going on, and they're saying that there are like 3 things going on, and for that reason it could hold up these inquiries with the state of New York. And one of them is a federal investigation into Mr. Cohen, and he pled guilty, as we know, this last week to several charges. Then the other thing is a special inquiry by special counsel Robert Mueller regarding Russia's interference in the 2016 election, which we know about. And the third one was the state of New York has brought a lawsuit against the Trump Foundation, which is supposed to be a charity. So there's 3 items going, and those 3 items could hold up anything that this Manhattan district attorney can do as far as getting Trump on these state charges for, and the state charges go back to filing false tax returns because they had done the $130,000. That was like a payoff to Stephanie Clifford, actress, but they had it done like it was attorney fee to Mr. Cohen. And so those are 3 items that's in front of the this case if they're going to go against Trump for a state tax violation, which his pardon has no effect on. It's a New York state tax violation. His pardon has nothing to do with it, and they could prosecute him, and they're talking about they want to bring criminal charges against him. That's all I have today. Let's see what happens tomorrow. This has been a real busy week, I'll tell you, and there have been a lot of things happening this week. I'm just wondering what's going to happen next week. Thank you.